The great housing reset sounds calm. But here's what nobody tells you. A slow market with wage growth outpacing prices is the perfect cover for a zoning revolution. Edmonton to Mississauga, Fourplex allowances, US metros, a DUS and density near transit. Your quiet cul-de-sac? Not so quiet. Watch me overlay Redfin's 2026 outlook with Canada's fast-tracking playbook to spot the early warning signs. Streamlined approvals, pre-approved designs, and public land deployments. We'll pinpoint where single-family demand diffuses first, so you're not the last owner wondering why your block's comps suddenly look crowded. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. You hear 1% price growth and your brain relaxes. Stable, boring, safe. That's the decoy. When prices barely move, nobody screams. And that's exactly when policymakers rewire your block. Low drama is the cloak. While you're scrolling rate charts, they're drafting density. So here's the thing. The great housing reset isn't doom or euphoria. It's slow-motion normalization. Mortgage rates settle in the low to mid-sixes. Wages outrun prices for once. Existing home sales creep a modest 3% higher. On paper, it reads like a Valium market. Nobody panics, nobody rushes. And that calm is gold for anyone trying to slip in structural change. But here's the catch. Stability lets density slide through. You watch rates, they file approvals. City councils love quiet conditions because hearings stay half empty and the headline risk is low. No crash, no viral outrage, no mob at the microphone. Just an ordinance here, a staff memo there, and density inches forward while your feed argues about whether 6.4% is high. Your cul-de-sac works like a velvet rope. Limited entry creates the vibe and the premium. Reforms walk up with scissors and start snipping, one ordinance at a time. A DUS by right. Duplex allowances on corner lots. Near transit upzoning. Nothing explosive, just steady cuts until the rope is more thread than barrier. And once that rope frays, comps drift. Not because your kitchen got worse, because your scarcity did. Let's bring receipts. The current outlook shows cautious sellers, almost no distressed listings, and demand that's decent but not rabid. Translation: no crash headlines to rally homeowners into stop the change coalitions. Without a panic narrative, reforms fly under the radar. Staff can say minor update, and the room nods. By the time you hear about it, the ink's dry. Spring 2026 will feel better, sure. But better than what? Better than the brutal spring 2025 rate prints. That's a low bar. Affordability isn't fixed. It's less bad. That difference matters. Less pain means less attention, which means more policy gets through. Quiet streets, busy planning departments. Policy creep is the game. YIMBY bills framed as incremental. ADUs by right dressed up as gentle. Near transit upzoning sold as alignment. Each one adds a little yield to a lot, and compounding does the rest. Think interest, not fireworks. A 5% bump in unit potential here, a 10% bump there, and suddenly the same parcel supports multiple doors with one driveway and a shared trash day. Your house isn't the only ticket anymore. Ask yourself this: if exclusivity props up your comp floor, what happens when the lot next door can legally host 4 front doors? You're not competing with a similar single family anymore. You're up against per-door math. Investors underwrite differently. They don't care about crown molding. They care about cap rates and exit options. That shifts land value logic overnight. And here's the mini payoff. The silent killer isn't a price plunge. It's the dilution of scarcity. Your home stops being a rare good. It becomes one option on a menu that just got longer. Buyers who once stretched to get into your block now have cheaper slices of the same location. Same school zone, same coffee shop, half the entry price. Your premium leaks, not crashes. You're not ready for what's next. Because behind that calm market headline is a checklist moving fast, mapping overlays, staff approvals, boilerplate code changes. So, who's actually pulling the zoning lever, and how fast can it flip your block? If zoning reform is just paperwork, why are builders acting like they found a cheat code? Because pre-approved Fourplex plans turn red tape into a shopping cart. You pick a template, you skip half the meetings, and your carry costs don't bleed out while the city reviews. That's why they're salivating. Policy becomes product the second approvals get standardized. Let's break the mechanics. Streamlined approvals chop months off timelines. Pre-approved designs mean a Fourplex can move like a kitchen remodel. Plug and play, same engineering, fewer surprises. Public land releases add the kicker. City lots bundled with density baked in. It's a turnkey pipeline. You go from hearing, "Someday we'll allow it," to "Submit your deposit." But here's the catch. Locals can yell, yet federal and provincial carrots control the purse. Funding tied to density flips the leverage. Cities that say no risk losing cash for roads, pipes, even transit. That's not a debate, that's a budget threat. When money hits the calendar year, councils fold. The memo reads, alignment, the outcome is more doors. Canada's the live case study. Fourplex allowances near transit. Housing accelerator money on the table. Pre-approved templates in the works. Edmonton rewrote its bylaw to allow more height and yield citywide. Brampton and Mississauga are moving because the funding clock is loud. Calgary's greenlit more types, same game. It's a century of restrictive single-family rules getting peeled back, not with fireworks, but with admin updates and form letters. The US is mirroring the move, just messier. California made ADUS by right and keeps widening the path. Big metros push transit-oriented development so lots near stations carry more units per parcel. Gentle density overlays keep popping up, adding units without waving a giant upzone flag. Net effect, every lot can do a little more than yesterday, and that little compounds. Now the twist people miss, labor and costs. We don't get an overnight unit tsunami. Construction slowdowns, material volatility, and trade shortages drag the rollout. But a slow drip still kills exclusivity on target streets. 2 Fourplexes on a formerly single-family block don't flood the market. They reset the narrative. Your only house in the zone, Flex, turns into one of many doors in the zone. There's more fuel. Climate-safe pockets, higher ground, fewer fires, better insurance outcomes, pull demand inward. At the same time, AI job jitters cool buyer power on the margins. That combo nudges households towards smaller, denser units with predictable payments. Co-buying, multiplex shares, ADUS as mortgage helpers. It's not romance, it's math. Lower entry, same school, same coffee, fewer zeros. Layer in the geographic filter. Redfin's 2026 take expects rent to rise modestly as apartment building slows, pushing renters toward co-buying or multiplex options. But South Florida and Southern California might see rent demand tempered by immigration enforcement, which takes a little heat off. In other metros, tighter rental supply does the opposite. It shoves people into triplexes, fourplexes, and ADU add-ons faster. So, who's most exposed? High demand, newly upzoned, transit-rich areas where single-family premiums were pure exclusivity tax. When you legalize more doors on those blocks, the premium leaks first. Investors run per-door math and bid the land for yield, not lawns. Homeowners who need comps to stay scarce get undercut by legal supply, even if total units rise slowly. The insulated zones are stricter lag cities. The true NIMBY fortresses with ironclad process, or markets with weak demand and no transit magnet. They won't move fast because nobody's dangling enough cash and the upside looks thin. You want the map. You want the timing. Let's rank the risk so you know whether to hold, add density, or sell before your comps get crowded.